Good morning once again, and thank you for participating in today's lesson sermon. Like Reverend said, I'm here to share with you The Way of the Initiate by Mr. Roy Eugene Davis. One may ask, who is an initiate? An initiate is one who has formally, an initiate is one who has been initiated into the path of Kriya Yoga, and informally all of us aspire to be initiated into the path of Kriya Yoga, so we are all initiates. He goes on to say, the way of the initiate is straight and narrow. The way of the initiate is straight and narrow, for it is a path which leads through every sense of illusion to the goal of enlightenment. Here, Mr. Roy Eugene Davis is telling us that we mustn't go to the left, we mustn't go to the right, we must go straight to the goal. That is the way of the life of the initiate. To be initiated is to be introduced to a higher way of life. To be initiated is to be introduced to a higher way of life. How many people, when they go to church, do they think that they are being initiated or they are being led on a higher way of life? They think that, you see, the spiritual life is not glorified human consciousness. It is a radical change from the past. You must put everything aside, and now you are a new person to lead a new life. To be initiated is to be introduced to a higher way of life, a spiritual rebirth in which we become aware of our immortal nature. Man, lost in the world, having forgotten his real God nature, must be awakened and shown how to clear the mind and consciousness. This usually comes about as a result of meeting someone who is spiritually awake and who can show the way. This spiritually awake person with the responsibility of introducing souls to God is the guru. Very important. This spiritually awake person with the responsibility of introducing souls to God is the guru. That is why we have our guru line, and the teaching tradition moves from one to the other, but it is the same teaching. It is not diluted, or it is not there's a change in any way. That is not the way. The spiritually awake person with the responsibility of introducing souls to God is the guru. And in this case, our guru is Reverend Samuel Sasu. If you have another guru, well, that is your problem. A guru is more than a teacher. Besides imparting instruction for the disciples' benefit, he also awakens intuition in us and helps us to overcome our subconscious problems. A guru with clairvoyant insight is able to see us better than we see ourselves, and can therefore help us clear out our storehouse of karma in the subconscious. The average person, a victim of his karma, blindly moves from experience to experience in this world, on this realm of relativity. Such a person has pleasant experiences and unpleasant ones, but the guru is interested in showing him how to transcend the relative world and get beyond the dualities. I want to repeat. The guru is interested in showing him how to transcend the relative world and get beyond the dualities. Sri Yukteswar always used to say, I'm here for your own good. If you feel I'm not here for your own good, go somewhere else. As for me, I know I'm here for your own good. So let us know that once we are here to relate to the guru, and he's here for our own good. Even if he criticizes us, even if he insults us, know that he's doing it for our own good, and let us not feel sad or victimized. Very, very important. He's not here to pamper the ego. He's here to show you what the reality of God and the world is. While it can hardly be denied that health, prosperity, peace of mind, and harmonious relationships are to be desired in this world, a wise person understands that even success is but a picture on the screen of space and time, and it is not the goal of life at all. I want to repeat it. You see, many people think that health, oh, I'm going for healing, prosperity. When they get prosperity, then they have got everything. They stop coming. Peace of mind and harmonious relationships are to be desired in this world. A wise person understands that even success is but a picture on the screen of space and time, and is not the goal of life at all. To work for outward success alone, in order to prove our understanding of the law of mind, is not the way of the initiate. An initiate strives for one thing: God realization, knowing that such realization will be enough. An enlightened person naturally experiences fulfillment in life and finds that whatever he needs in order to function is always available to him. It is just there when he needs it, and he does not have to work for it. So if today or in the past you have thought that anything else is the goal of life, please, today you are being reminded and being taught that the initiate strives for one thing: God realization, knowing that such realization will be enough. Preparation for initiation. I know most people have gone through initiation, but this is the way for those who want to prepare for initiation, or this is the way we should have prepared ourselves for initiation. He says, we prepare ourselves for initiation by yearning to know the truth and by seeing to it that our motives are pure. Very, very important. That our motives are pure. A person who wants to learn occult secrets in order to control other people or pursue self-centered goals is not a fit candidate for initiation. Whatever awakening comes to such a person will only magnify and complicate his already distorted life. I remember when Roy taught Reverend and commissioned him to teach this way of life, he told him, Reverend, don't go and confuse anybody, because if you do, your confusion will be greater. So remember, the motives must always be pure. And that is why our guru line and our line of succession and the teaching is pure. Because the motives are pure and nobody comes to control another person. What is it? Is your betterment or your awakening to complete God realization. Therefore, to seek initiation means that a person must search his heart and make his own decision about the matter. Having once begun on the spiritual path, there is no turning back. Jesus stated it as, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of heaven. There are no rigid rules for an initiate, because his life is to be an inner one, not an outer one. His life is to be an inner one. He is to be ever guided by his intuition. He is to synchronize his thoughts, feelings, and actions so that he makes rapid progress on the spiritual path. He is to choose the useful, which leads to self-realization, and ignore the non-useful, that which complicates our lives and makes self-realization difficult. I want to stress that again. He is to choose the useful and avoid the non-useful. An initiate should examine his life and learn to cut out all non-essential things, for it is in this way that he makes rapid progress. He condenses experiences through concentrated effort and thus quickens his liberation. There is nothing that we do that is spiritual or unspiritual. Our only guide can be If what we do increases our awareness of life, it is proper for us. If it decreases our awareness of life, it is not proper. So now we know one thing. All we are doing in our daily spiritual practice is to increase our awareness of life. It is not only health, prosperity, and I can do this, I have a car, I have a house, I have this. No, that is not the only thing. There are things which help us or make our lives more comfortable, but that is not the goal of life. The goal of life is God realization. True initiation. True initiation is more than an outward ritual or symbolic gesture. Although initiation may be accompanied by ritual and symbolism in order to make a dramatic effect or impact on the subconscious and mark the occasion as a turning point in life. Two things must take place during initiation. Two things must take place during initiation. In the proper setting, the guru confronts the candidate for initiation. Prior to the meeting, the guru meditates and anchors himself in God consciousness. The candidate prepares himself by prayer and meditation in order to be receptive. Then both guru and disciple meditate together, and the guru imparts his vital force to the disciple, either by an act of will or by laying on his hands. This stirs up the dormant life forces in the disciple and awakens his intuition. The disciple is also instructed in a technique of meditation, which enables him to continue his awakening in his private hours. So the initiation is not for fanciful anything. It is for a purpose. And he said that both the guru and the disciple meditate together, and the guru imparts his vital force to the disciple, either by an act of will or while laying on his hands. This stirs up the dormant life forces the disciple and awakens his intuition. The disciple is also instructed in a technique of meditation. So if you have been instructed, please practice it faithfully. If you have any problem, Reverend who initiated you is around. Come and consult him. Meditation instruction without spiritual awakening leads to the mechanical practice of the method, seldom with good results. Spiritual awakening without meditation instruction makes the disciple more vital and responsive, but gives him no way to channel his increased energy and perceptive powers. After initiation, a rapport is established between the guru and the disciple, and a flow of power continues to be directed from God through the disciple, through the guru to the disciple. A disciple can therefore tune into his guru and tune in with the infinite. That is why it is said that a true guru is God on earth. In such a person, the clear awareness of the infinite perfectly expresses, and thus divine light and power are channeled into creation. One person who always acknowledges this is Father or Reverend Abraham. Anytime he's coming to preach, if you remember, he always acknowledges Reverend and thanks him for the light and power which is flowing through him. It should flow through not only Abraham, but through each and every one of us. The only bond between guru and disciple is impersonal love and spiritual respect. The only bond between guru and disciple is impersonal love and spiritual respect. The guru's only motive in the relationship is to show the disciple the way to God realization. I want to stress it again. The guru's only motive in the relationship is to show the disciple the way to God realization. This is where CSA differs a lot from most of the churches around today. Frequently, though not always, the guru-disciple relationship is a renewal of past life associations. Again and again, they meet until the disciple is liberated and can begin his own mission as a guru for others. When the disciple becomes sufficiently awakened and aware of his own divinity, he lives completely free, relying upon the infinite moment to moment. His days of overcoming problems and proving himself in the world are over, and he sets about assisting in the transformation of the world. When we become enlightened and know who we really are, there is no longer any ego left in our nature. There is nothing else to strive for or attain. In fact, Ramana Maharishi used to say that the ego of a guru, of an enlightened person, is like a bent rope. When you see a fire and there's a rope in the fire, or after the fire has died, he says you see the form, but the rope's useless to tie anything with. So in the guru or the enlightened person, the ego has form, but nothing else. There is nothing else. From this point on, we can only work for the good of mankind, because we see that nothing else matters. The purpose of creation is not the manifestation of an earthly paradise, although this may come about. The purpose of creation is self-realization for all creatures, all creatures. You see, Roy constantly stresses self-realization, God-realization. And he was highly God-realized and self-realized. Understanding this, we live meaningful lives and know the unshakable inner peace that surpasses all human understanding. An initiate does not neglect his spiritual welfare. He does not think in terms of the needs of the material world being more important than self-realization. He sees the so-called material world as an expression of God and endeavors to live consciously in a heavenly manner at all times. Some people say, I do not have time to meditate, and I don't have time to think of God. Regardless of how busy we are, we have every moment of the day to live in the awareness that God is expressing through and as us now. This is what the spiritual life is all about. We are not to struggle and work in the world as a compromise, using meditation and study as an occasion to escape. We are to clear the mind through meditation and spiritual reflection, and then carry this awareness with us at all times. If we are able to do this, we find that everything we do is a spiritual activity. Then there is no difference between the spiritual and the material. Everything we are doing for God. As we are able to do this, we find that everything we do is a spiritual activity. Regardless of whether we are on the job, with other people, at home, the family, partaking of food, making love, it is all the same. We do it in the consciousness of God, and it becomes a divine activity. It is important that we receive initiation at the hands of a person who himself was initiated by a God-conscious soul. Luckily, we do not have to worry about this in CSA. It goes on, as a matter of fact, that the flow of light and power from Babaji extends right through to Reverend Samuel Sasu through our Guru line. In this way, there is a chain of masters through whom the divine power flows. After a number of years of practice of meditation and gaining depth and insight, the initiate may be advised by his guru to begin sharing with others. Then the initiate becomes a representative in the line of gurus, and the truth is spread to ever-increasing numbers of people. Here I want to say that If you have not officially been maybe asked to share with others, anytime you meet people, in your own small way, try to help them. Whatever you've been taught here, if you know you can help anybody, your brother, your friend, your child, your boss, your superior, please share it with the people, because we want this way of life to spread throughout the universe. However, living the true spiritual life is the main requirement for a teacher. We are not fit to awaken or instruct others unless we know from personal inward experience what it is like to live in God consciousness. Knowing from personal experience and being aware of the present needs of other people, we develop compassion and are naturally led to show those who are receptive the way to liberation. That is the thing. Those who are receptive, we can help them in our own small way. The average person on the spiritual path should help to take truth to others by sharing with an organization or a ministry on the front lines of the work. This tithe by sharing with the ministry on the front lines of the work. This tithe, usually considered to be 10% of a person's earnings, enables a person to play some useful role in world uplift. So those who try to forsake their tithe or do not know the purpose of the tithe, Roy is saying that the tithe, usually considered to be 10% of a person's earnings, enables a person to play some useful role in world uplift. Eventually, the amount of one's time and energy is increased until all one's time and energy are totally dedicated to bringing light to the world. Can you do it? Ask yourself and say, yes, I can do it. There are numerous temptations on the path because we are working out karmic patterns and overcoming our restless human tendencies. If our motive is pure, however, and we are resolved to go all the way in this incarnation, we will be able to withstand the tempting illusions of the world. We are not tested by a higher power. Our test consists of facing up to inner impulses, which, if followed, would lead us astray, confuse the mind, and create negative complications in the subconscious. So those who always think in terms of the devil and the devil and the devil, Roy is telling us that our test consists of facing up to our own inner impulses, which, if followed, would lead us astray, confuse the mind, and create negative complications in the subconscious. It is important for an initiate to contemplate daily and become established in transcendental awareness. He then lives from this level of consciousness at all times. This will ensure an objective frame of mind and keep one steady on the path. The secret is to control feelings through the proper use of intelligence, the faculty of discrimination, and to remember our true place and function in the world. Again, the secret is to control feelings through the proper use of intelligence, the faculty of discrimination, and to remember our true place and function in this world. Okay, there's an affirmation, so I'll say it, and then we repeat it. As an initiate awake in God, I remain in tune with God's will at all times, and moment to moment, allow the divine plan to express through my every thought, feeling, and action. Okay, let us sit in the meditative posture. As an initiate, awake in God, I remain in tune with God's will at all times. And moment to moment, allow the divine plan to express through my every thought, feeling, and action. Again, As an initiate, awake in God, I remain in tune with God's will. At all times and moment to moment, allow the divine plan to express through my every thought, feeling, and action. For the last time, as an initiate, awake in God, I remain in tune with God's will. At all times and moment to moment, allow the divine plan to express through my every thought, feeling, and action. Thank you very much.